The current energies are starting to increase as we approach the spring equinox on March 19th. And you may notice within yourself that there is a little more momentum, a little more aliveness, and you may also be experiencing a little bit more of the voice of self doubt coming up at this time. So, we just got out of a new moon in Pisces. Pisces is the energy of our intuition. It is our dreaminess, the illusions that we experience. It is also our psychic abilities, the synchronicities and the signs. So at this time, you may be receiving more signs and synchronicities and things happening that are showing you that you are in alignment, that you are in the present moment, and the divine is speaking to you and through you in these moments. And at the same time, because we are moving out of this winter season and into spring, there is still this residue of all of the inner work that we just did in this past season of internalness, where things are coming to the surface. Hence, maybe experiencing this voice of self doubt or the negative self talk or whatever it is that comes up for you in this moment that is still there for healing. Now, we have an opportunity to flip the script each time that we notice this. So, winter season was all about going inward, doing the shadow work. You may have noticed that throughout January and February, there was a greater experience of going through a dark night of the soul experience. And it's not really a one time, a one and done thing. It is a continuous commitment to the self to wake up to higher levels of consciousness each time that we work on our shadow. And a message that came through so strongly for me in this past month was for us to really embrace our core wounds, to embrace the shadow, to make peace with the shadow, to love the shadow aspects of ourselves. And it came through in the form of the energy of Chiron, which is the wounded healer planet. And so this asteroid is speaking to us now. It is really becoming more prominent. And wherever you have Chiron in your chart, you may notice that theme is what is being highlighted at this time. So Chiron is in Aries, and it is also on the North Node. So we are fully experiencing it with a lot of energy behind it because Aries is the planet of initiation, of energy, and our North Node is our true north. So it really is here to take us to the next level. And if we can start to welcome it in that way, so that we start to become more intimate with where we require healing and more nurturing and more love, then we are able to move through it with grace and ease in a way that is not possible if we start to resist. And a lot of the times, what we experience when we go through shadow aspects of ourself is that it goes right up into our head, and then the mind becomes overactive, and then the body gets out of balance, and we start to move into a panic or a worry state or anxiousness or depression. And all of these experiences start happening where now we are dysregulated and our nervous system is dysregulated. So we move into that fight or flight state. And the thing is, we have specific coping mechanisms that we have used since early childhood. And they are repeating in these very moments for us to make a different decision. So from the higher vantage point of our greater awareness, we are able to catch ourselves in these moments the way we weren't able to catch ourselves before. So when we can shorten the amount of time that we're in a reaction, we have already shifted in our awareness and in our consciousness. And this is truly what we're working with now, is that as everything starts amping up and we have more energy coming forward as we're entering the spring equinox, and this time where we have an opportunity to tap into the 0 point of stillness within, because it's equal day and equal night. And so it's a very unique energy that happens twice a year at the spring equinox and the fall equinox. So we have this time to really bring ourselves inward, come into harmony and balance within the cells, within the meridians, within the chakras, within all the systems of the body, and really use this day as an initiation into the astrological new year. And so as this part of ourself, this shadow aspect, the ego aspect, the voice of, doubt that may be coming up strongly, as it comes up more and more, if we can speak with it and open to it and embrace it, and then give ourselves what we need to shift out of the reaction and into regulation. It's a continuous practice. It is a continuous commitment to the self, to come back to center, to come back into alignment. And the quickest and easiest way always is to notice where our breath is. When we are dysregulated, our breath moves all the way up into the secondary muscles of breathing. Sometimes it becomes so shallow that it's like hovering and it just is this small movement until we notice that we're holding our breath. So when we dysregulate and the energy comes up and we start breathing and bypassing the lower belly, the lungs, the diaphragm, and we move up, 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 and the breath starts coming like this, where we inhale and everything comes up and our belly comes in, which is the opposite of having a relaxed breath. And then we exhale and everything comes out and we push everything out. Each time that we inhale up and we're expanding up here, the energy keeps going up, up, up into our heads. And so the breath alone can be an indication of where we're at. The breath alone can guide us back home to our center. Now, we want to get to a point where we can calm everything down. And if we use our breath and inhale and everything expands and we draw the energy down as the diaphragm comes down, and then we exhale and the belly comes in and the energy comes back up as the diaphragm comes back up, this is how we come back into this regulated state. And it's accessing this breath consciously without force. So instead of thinking of taking a deep inhale, right, which will start to accentuate that feeling of bypassing because we think deep and then we just go for it. If we can think of going soft, gentle, relaxed, incremental breathing, very gently inhale and very gently exhale. And again, gently inhale. Feel the belly expand as the diaphragm goes down. Exhale. As the belly comes in, the diaphragm comes back up. So approaching our breath in a very gentle way will help us to come back into that regulated state, into that relaxation state in the body, so that we can shift from the shadow and the voice that takes over. And the voice is that of duality, swinging back and forth, reacting from our situations of the past that are imprinted in our body from past experiences. And so each time that we can regulate, take those moments, take those breaths, we are creating a new possibility, because we come back to center, we come back into the present moment, and we can choose again and again and again from this now moment to think differently. Our thoughts move faster than the speed of light. We have the power to create so quickly, and a lot of the time we are creating by default without being conscious of our thoughts and the emotions that are connected to the thoughts that we think. And so the more conscious we can become about the state of our mind, the nature of our thoughts, what we are projecting into the quantum field through our frequency of thought, because every thought holds a frequency, a vibration. And when we can become more aware of what we project out, we can completely use our energy to support what we want to create and not what we don't want to create. A lot of the times people go unconscious throughout the day and start talking about the things that aren't working, negative things that have happened, things that have happened in the past, things that are not working right now, things that they're afraid that might not work tomorrow or the next day or next month. And this is creating a wave of energy, sending a signal out. And we are magnets. We receive that exact match to what we put out. And this isn't to create more worry when we catch ourselves in these loops, because this is the inner work. This is what we're here to do. This is what we're here to release out of our system so that we can return to our purity of consciousness. When we start to allow the unconscious to become conscious, we have an opportunity to reach our superconscious, which is when we are truly connected into source, to the divine. And when we connect into the superconscious quadrant, we start to access our wholeness, our own sovereignty, our own divinity, which is connected to all. There is no separation here in the superconscious mind. There is no separation, no duality, no polarity. We come into the unity of our wholeness. And from this space, we can create anything. We truly can. And it truly requires energy. This year, being in an 8-year, I've done some reflecting these last couple months, this January, February, now we're in March, we're mid-March here in the Northern Hemisphere, but January and February, there were some tough times for a lot of people going through dark night of the soul. Old core wounds, the Chiron wounds, the wounded healer, the aspects of those core wounds or traumas we experienced in childhood, all of these things coming up to the surface. And it truly is this great opportunity now to use the coming energy to move forward into consciousness and what we want to create. Now, the spring equinox is in Aries. Aries is full of energy. It is action. The equinox is our initiation into the new astrological year. It is the birth of new. So really taking this time as we move out of the winter months this time of completion, it really is time to now step into this new beginning. And I was reminded time and time again through those months of hardship that we are in this 8-year of the theme, which is the prana, our pranic body. Prana is our life force energy. It's the healing force within us that's carried through the breath, by the breath in the body, to wake up our kundalini, to wake up every single signal in our body so that we can become a vehicle of light. It is the energy of self-initiation. It is the energy itself. And so this abundance available to us is very unique. And we're layered with the Chinese astrology of the year of the dragon, which connects us to our destiny and anchoring it through the wood dragon into the earth. It's the veil between worlds being thin, being able to tap into our gifts and our abilities on a greater level. And so coming back to this 8-year, I was reminded again and again that the theme is from finite to infinite. And can I say that yes, January and February, specifically February, being a 2 in numerology, was very much in that energy field. From finite to infinite has nothing to do with the 8, the 2, from finite to infinite. However, it was testing us. The 1 was from the head to the heart, the soul body. So we experienced this aspect in January of separation, potential separation, going into the head, not being in our hearts. And how many times do we feel a calling in our hearts? And instead of listening to the signs, the synchronicities, and things that are very clear right in our face, we go into our heads and think, oh, I know better. This probably isn't the right time, or whatever excuse we come up with. And then we shift from our heart to our head again. And then we're back in separation and duality. So from finite to infinite was shown to us in January already. And then in February, as we moved into the cosmic womb and the quantum field, we have this opportunity to send out exact information, planting seeds of what we want to create. And because 2 also represents the negative mind, there was that potential to create from a space of negativity, which again creates separation. From finite to infinite. So now we're in the month of March. It's the 3, it's the positive mind, it's opportunity, manifestation, creation. It is the flip side of the negative mind of the 2, so we may still experience some of that pull. And like I said, we're coming out of the winter season where our shadow aspects were highlighted. There was a lot of shadow work that happened at that time. And so now, this time of completion, it's time to really reflect on what it is we are ready and willing to let go of. And then in order to let go truly, we must have a level of energy stronger than our desire to stay in the familiar, our desire to stay comfortable in the old self. We must have a level of energy that moves us forward and a stronger mind to command our energy forward, which comes from a regulated breath. It's all coming together. And when we can get to that space, there is this infinite possibility and potential as we move from the finite to the infinite through this year of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and like this video so that it helps get out to more people. And I will be hosting an online eclipse class coming up on the 24th. I will also be offering an in-person event on the 19th for the spring equinox, a goddess circle, which will be in Windsor, Ontario. So if you are interested in joining us for either of those, send me a message or comment below and I will reach out to you and send you the details.